want to ask you about Ryan Donato. Now that you've gotten a good look at him, how's he doing so far?
He's doing really well. I think that we've experimented on putting him on 3 different lines and seeing where he fits best. And right now he's playing with Noah Gregor and Matt Nieto. And I really like the combination of that line. All 3 guys have a lot of speed. And it adds some offense and scoring to that third line. And it's a little more of a, from what we see right now, a little more of a meat and potatoes line. It's they're not trying to beat people one-on-one. They're not trying to hold on to pucks too long in the O zone. It's actually, they all complement each other with their speed. So I'd say one thing I've seen out of his game, he seems to be a little bit of a shootout specialist. He's he's got the great moves in close, and just is a guy that works hard. He loves the game. He's a good offensive player that I think is going to help us, whether he plays in the top 6 or that middle 6. I'm not sure yet, but I like what he brings to our team. Makes us a faster team.
How would you compare the depth that you have right now to what you had this time or training camp last year?
Well, I think it's as it sits right now, you could have a 4th line on opening night of a mixture of a Shelman, a Sorensen, a Nason, a Marlowe, guys like that, Gambrels. We have guys now with some experience, again, that are, our first bunch of games being on the road, we're going to have to be able to play 4 lines, and we're going to have some, our third and fourth line see some, I don't want to call them mismatches, but they're going to have to be able to play against the other team's top 6 from time to time. And you just don't have that luxury of having that last change. So it's important that our fourth line is made up of some guys that, that can play against anybody.
Well, the last question I had was, last season you guys had like 15 different combinations in the fourth line over the first 2 months. How important is it for you to maintain stability with the so-called bottom 6?
Well, I'd like to do that if possible. I think, obviously a compressed schedule, I think we're going to have to use, may have to platoon guys in and out once in a while, and especially on a lot of back-to-backs and things like that. But I'd feel real comfortable if we can get a combination going here and get on a run and play well as a team. And, my style, if we play well and we're winning hockey games, I don't like to change too much. So it'd be important. It'd be important to have some chemistry built early, and especially after 9-10 months off. I think that you want to see that as a coach.
Shane.
Morning, Bob.
Morning, Shane.
Morning. Was wondering, we're speaking of Donato, and of course he and Leonard were, kind of vying for a spot. Just about both of those guys in particular, we all know about their offensive abilities, but how are their defensive details so far?
From what I see, I think obviously Ryan's got a lot more experience than John in the league. I think John's an eager kid, and he's learning. I think that, and he's one of those guys you don't have to tell him twice. I think that, the mistakes that, he's made or a few other guys have made, we've corrected it in video, and you could see them automatically getting that and working on that the next day and correcting it. And so guys with good hockey sense, they're the easy guys to teach. They get it. And, I think Johnny's going to be one of those guys. I think Ryan's got that experience, and, some of the things that, that we've brought to the table and some changes that we've made, he's seen that before, and, he adapts well to it. So I think both guys, again, it's, I could tell you what I've seen in scrimmages and practices, until you get to, the game time and there's pressure and there's, another team. I think it's, you're going to be able to tell a little more about players at that point in time, but I like what I see so far from both defensively.
Okay. And is Redeem going to be able to go tonight?
I think this will be his last day off, and then I'm hoping that he sees the ice tomorrow in practice and he can get back into the swing of things. But today he's going to stay off. Just he hasn't practiced in a couple of days, and I don't want to really throw him into a game.
Okay, fair enough. And what have you seen on the ice from him so far? What are you looking to see, or anything improvement, if anything?
With Simmer, I think that I want to see him feeling good physically. I think that we want to test him. I know he has experience playing on the right side. If Mario does slide up there with Burnsy, I think that you're going to have to see Simmer playing some right side this year. And for his game, you know, when he's at his best, he's that gamer kind of player too. You know, he's going to add some physicality. He's going to keep it simple. You know, and I think he's a hard guy to play against. And I think I want to see him get back to where, you know, just being reliable. Really, I mean, that last pairing, 5, 6, 7th defenseman. We want guys that we can depend on defensively. Number one, and that can complement that group of four.
And besides Redeem and Max and Alex, anybody else not playing tonight?
Redeem, Max, Alex. That's it. Those three are out.
Okay. And last question for me, regarding the power play. I know the intention is to start the season with Brent and Eric on the same unit. On the second unit, are you looking to go 4 forwards, 1 defenseman, or that
Yeah,
hasn't been set yet?
that's a conversation that we're still having. I think it's going to sort of play itself out here during camp, and it all depends, you know, who we keep as the 6, 7 defenseman as well. We can go a couple ways on that. We can keep a guy that's a little more offensive that can run a power play, a second unit power play, or, you know, we have to maybe get creative and do the 4 forwards and 1D. So that's still up for grabs, and it sort of hasn't sorted itself out yet.
Okay. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
We just have time for a couple more here. Let's go, Dan Rosen.
Yeah, hey Bob, thanks for doing this. Big picture, you guys are a team that's looking to have a bounce back season from last year. And I'm curious, what about a player like Erik Karlsson? Erik Karlsson put 40 points up in 56 games last year. You'd probably take that in 56 games this year if he plays in every game. But do you see Erik as a guy who's a candidate for a bounce back season despite the obvious point production?
I think so. I think, you know, offense is always going to be there as part of his game. I think what was missing last year, and he'd probably agree to this, is some of the smaller, the small and little details of the game defensively. I think that's what brings his game into full form. I think he needs to be a guy that can play against top lines. If he starts with Vlasic as a partner, they're going to see a lot of big, heavy minutes against other team's top lines. And so, number one, I don't really worry about his offense. I'm worried more about, you know, him being a good defender and being reliable, and you know, and knowing when to take chances and when not to, and picking his spots. And I think that's you know, that's when he's playing his best. So, and we've had the conversation with him and a few other guys that you know, our team, in order to win games consistently, our best players have got to be our best players, and he's that guy. And I know that last year didn't go quite as well as he wanted to, and I could say the same for a bunch of guys. But he understands the pressures that come with you know, being the big defenseman.
Assign them,
That back at him.
As a quick follow-up to that, how valuable then do you think it will be to have Vlasic as a pair with him? Because we know that Vlasic is a defensive conscious and a defensive oriented guy.
Yeah, you know, we debate a lot in the summer about partners, and started camp with Vlasic and Karlsson. I like what I've seen so far, and you know, that's the one good thing about Vlasic, is that he you know, he thrives on trying to shut the other teams down. That's his game, and you know, I think he could, you know, help and complement Carly that way. You know, I like the way Ferraro and Burns are playing together. So that four are, you know, that top four looks pretty solid right now. And I don't want to make 2 changes. Those guys know each other. They have some chemistry, and both guys are in the same boat. And I could say the same thing for Vlasic. I think he had a bit of an off year. You know, it's time for both guys to respond. And you know, I think they're going to be a good pair together.